So let's just start from the top. Why don't we? Yeah, life has been interesting since I came to Canada. And it all kind of goes back to the spiritual path that I think I'm on, we're all on, the universe and how it speaks through me and all that fancy jazz, and how everybody has the opportunity to do so. Oh, I had so much good things to say, and now I can't remember where I was, but that's okay. So, yeah. I think this all goes back to just how much I've been working on myself since coming to Canada, knowing that this journey for me was going to be an extremely healing journey. I remember saying to Kate that I knew that this trip to Canada was about healing. Healing for myself, healing for my family, healing for my relationship with my family. And it's been a roller coaster. Like, every day there's something new. Like, from the time that I got here to right now, the drastic expansion has been unreal. Like, it hasn't been easy. I wouldn't say that it's been easy at all. I think I'm just more aware than I've ever been before. And I think, yeah, I know that for the last year, I guess you could say, like, since giving birth to Raina, even before Raina was born, so I, like, from the last Lionsgate portal to now, so portal to portal, because that's one of the things that I've listened to and learned over the last few months, is like, these two portals only happen once a year, and it's a good way to look at your progression in abundance year over year. And it's the luckiest day of the year, right? Like, it's the day that you're supposed to be manifesting your dreams, you're supposed to be working so hard, and like, this Lionsgate portal was insane. So many things happened that I wasn't expecting. Like, just next level abundance. And not in a money sense, more of like energetic abundance. And from the work I've been doing on myself, I've really been diving into my shadows. I've been watching The 7 Deathly Shadows by Reverend Sydney Finn. We'll put that in the description so that I don't mess up the name and you have no idea who I'm talking about. But Reverend Sydney Finn, I can't remember what she goes by on Instagram, but on YouTube, that's what she goes by. And like, even right now while I'm talking, I can like hear her voice through me, which is kind of weird, but I guess it's normal, because the work that I've been doing by watching her videos, I've been saying it like week after week. If you know me personally, or you are someone who's in the accountability group or has been working with me, you know what I'm talking about, because I've already explained it so clearly how impactful these videos are. And like, I knew about them last year when they originally came out, because this is just a free mastermind that she posted on YouTube after, I believe she did it as a paid class or a free class last year when it was like done live. And I knew about it back then, but I don't think I was ready for it. And I think that that's something that I've been talking about a lot more with clients, with potential clients, with everything, is like, where you're at energetically matters. Where you're at energetically in your business, where you're at energetically with yourself, you're only going to call in what actually is in alignment with you. And if you're trying to align with things that are way bigger than you are, it's going to take a lot of hard work on your part to get to where you want to go. But it's not so much like physical hard work. Like, that was one of the things, like, I just said it to someone that I was sending a voice message to. She talks about in the first video with disconnection about how something comes to being. So there's the idea, but the idea isn't something that we have necessarily. There's a YouTube video of the chick from Eat, Pray, Love. I can never remember her name, but she does a TED Talk. We'll put the link in that in the description as well, so you guys can find it. But she talks about like the wave of creation, or like the wave of creativity, and I believe that these are definitely connected. So it's kind of like the idea wave as well. So like creator, source, God, whatever you want to call it, the universe has this idea, and it sends out a download or a wave or whatever you want to call it. I like the idea of a wave because it's kind of like a wave that like crashes into the shore, right? Like, you know how a wave creates itself, and someone eventually is going to get crashed with that idea and put it into fruition. But after the idea, there's a thought. So the idea is in our higher self, in the astral, in that higher realm of being, and then the thoughts are what dictate if it becomes materialized. So idea, thought, material. Those are the 3 steps for something to come to fruition. And she talks about expansion and how like the universe is ever evolving and ever expanding, and how a lot of these shadows that we deal with, or these belief systems that stand in our way, like disconnection, like scarcity. That's kind of where I'm going with this, is towards scarcity, because that's the one that I'm working through today, and like has totally hit me in the face. Is like, I am in that mindset, or was in that mindset of scarcity. And after talking to Amy Lee, who's in the first podcast, like, I want to work with her so fucking badly. It's next level. How badly I want to do her program. And it's like, let's be real, I don't have the money to afford it right now. So I was pissed about that. And I've been going through some stuff with my family. There have been some really triggering conversations that have happened this week, and that have happened up and down all summer. And I don't know if you are in the same position that myself and my business is in, and Kate is like with Wildly Digital. We've gone through a shit ton in the last year. Like, so much. Personally, business-wise, like, I had a baby. Kate had her own shit happen. Sorry, I'm getting hiccups. Ooh. What do hiccups mean energetically? But, yeah. So, back to how all this comes together. Is like, if you have a thought, like, so you have an idea. Let's say the idea is, I want to make $1 million. Let's just use that, because that's what a lot of people think about, right? If that idea of, I want to make $1,000 or $1 million is too big for your sense of being and your vibration and your frequency, then there's no way you're going to manifest it. Let's just be real. It's not going to happen, because you're not ready for it. And that's where divine timing comes in, and the laws of the universe, and working through all of this stuff with yourself. It's so impactful, and it's so important. And this is where it all goes back to business. So as a business owner, we set these goals. And this is something that I talk about all the time in the Accountability Club and in the Ideal Planning Method course. And also, like, when I'm working with any client. If your goals don't align with the lifestyle that you have, or you're not in a position to truly be able to embrace what you're setting yourself as a goal, or you're making your goal too big, you are literally overpromising to yourself, and you will underdeliver because you're just not ready. So when you're setting goals, when you're making intentions, when you're doing all of these things, ask yourself how it feels energetically. And how this really came to me, like, over the last few weeks, was that I'm working through fine-tuning the offerings that Wildly Digital has. And this is the value of listening to this podcast. And I think this is where things are really going to start to take off for you as the listener, is if you listen to what I'm saying, you don't have to take anything that I say and put it into action. You don't. It's up to you. Like, you can be like, she's full of shit. But I'm telling you, if you look at your sales process right now, in your business, if you don't understand your numbers, if you don't understand where everything's coming from, you could put yourself into a position of getting duped. And that was a lesson that has come so clearly to me over the last few months. actually last few weeks really, is like, if I get too excited about something, I can get duped. I can get caught up in the fancy title, the fancy la la la, rah 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 shit, like easily. I will invest into things that I think are going to benefit me just because I have a feeling. And in some situations, it really turns out well for me. And in others, it doesn't. So I've been looking at myself from a human design perspective, and I need to do more research on it, but I'm working through how I make decisions and what my authority is. So if you don't even know what this stuff is, and you're setting a goal of, okay, I want to make $1 million, but you're in a scarcity mindset, then those things are not in alignment. You're not in alignment with your goal. It means that your chakras aren't in alignment. It means that you have things you need to work through for that message to be delivered effectively to the universe, and that you would connect with your higher self and yourself and the earth. So when all those things are connected, which you can do at any time, there are exercises, there are lots of stuff you can do. But if those aren't things that you understand, those aren't things that you believe in, those aren't things that motivate or drive you, what does drive you? What does motivate you? And if you're listening to this podcast, you believe in source. You believe in God. You believe in a higher power. You believe in your higher self. You've done work. You're doing work every day. And that's why you're here. That's why you're listening to this, because you're like, what the fuck? Like, I just want my business to work. What's happening here? And that's where I was watching something else this morning, and it was talking about wealth. Wealth is a mindset. These are all mindsets. Scarcity is a mindset. Abundance is a mindset. It's all about mindset. Like, literally, one of my incoming clients, who is also a coach, a phenomenal coach, she has her own shit and she's working through her own stuff, right? Everybody is. But like, I felt this like resistance to her yesterday, within myself, because of the way that we were coming up against one another, and me working through financial violence and some of the decisions that she's making in her business. And I was like, yo, like, you told me that you were hiring me as a closer, so that's what I'm gonna do for you, but I need the leads. I need the stuff. So just to catch you up, I actually met with a client today, and it was so beneficial. Like, even just to back up what I'm talking about now, because if you don't know your numbers in your business, if you don't know where you want to go with your business, like, if you don't have that expertise, like, you know where you want to go, you know your big goals and your big vision, but if you don't know how to get there, or the processes and systems and approaches to getting to the goal that you have, it's so important to ask for help. And I think that, I know that there are so many valuable people out there that are just waiting to help you. But it takes a village. The same way that they say it takes a village to raise a kid, it takes a village to raise a business. It takes a team of people to gather around you, see the value in what you're doing, and help get you to that next step. So that could be having a really awesome team of employees working for you if your business is that size. That could be having a supportive family as much as possible. So it may not be, because we all have our shit, right? But I think it's about knowing if you have the right people in place by asking the right questions. Anyone can be on your team. It's about you having the patience and the leadership to rally people around you, to gather the right people, to have the patience to express what you're trying to build, and also be humble enough to take their advice, to take their opinions, to work through the emotions that you're feeling. And it takes a very strong person to do those things, but it also takes a very empathetic, compassionate person to be able to do that as well. Those, to me, are the best leaders. The leaders who care about their team. The leaders who will bend over backwards for their people. With that, if that's the type of person that you are, if you're like, yeah, that's the type of leader I am, well, how far are you bending? How much are you giving? Are you giving too much? Are you giving enough to your business? Are you giving too much in other areas of your life that you're not giving enough to your business? Are you treating your business like it's its own entity? Are you creating an atmosphere where your business feels safe the same way you would ensure your child feels safe? You would never want your child to be in a situation or to develop skills and coping strategies that are unhealthy or dysfunctional. But are we thinking about our business in the same way? And that's where this I don't know, like, I think that's where, I don't know how to describe it properly, but this is where the Wildly Digital process really comes in. And the reason why we're doing some of the things that we're doing and how our business has evolved is because one thing that we've always been aware of is our emotions. Kate and I are both extremely emotionally aware people, and we work hard on creating the best version of ourselves every day. You can have everything you want. Like I said, it's a mindset. Wealth is a mindset. Abundance is a mindset. Love is a mindset. Everything goes back to how we think, how we feel, how we act. And if those three things are not in alignment with each other, if you're not thinking the same way that you're feeling and acting the same way that you're thinking, then the universe gets confused. Pretty much right away. And you can go through all these awesome courses. You can keep taking things to make you a better leader, to make you a better business owner, to give you letters behind your name, to do all that stuff that's going to help give you caliber depending on what type of business you have and what audience you're trying to attract. But I believe the most important thing is to put your own emotional awareness first. Because the more emotionally aware you can be as a human being, the better leader you will be in the long run. And really, this comes down to anybody. Like, you don't have to be a CEO to be thinking this way. You could be anyone. Because if you're emotionally aware, then you're able to approach situations effectively. You're able to take inspired action based off of what you're presenting with yourself and not feeling like you're going to fail or that life's going to fall apart on you or, well, like, those feelings might come up. Like, those feelings come up no matter what. We all have fears, but you can work through them more effectively. And you'll notice that you come to the table with better discussions, that it gets easier to have tough conversations with people because they're crucial. There's a book called Crucial Conversations. If you've never read it, I'm going to include the link to it in the bottom. Well, Kate will, because Kate's the one that makes all the things look fancy. But I read it when I was working for Good Life, which is a gym in Canada. That's one of the largest gyms in Canada. They have so many locations. And it really stood out for me that just how important having conversations is, but also knowing how to have those conversations and how to articulate yourself. So if that's an area that you struggle with, I highly recommend that book. The other book that is from my days at Good Life is the 1 Minute Manager, or if you look online now, I think it's called the 1 Minute Self Manager. There's a couple different versions. The 1 Minute Manager is about being the best manager you can be. This 1 Minute Self Manager is about being the best self manager you can be. Like, knowing yourself, how you approach the situation. And that book is, again, it's not only for entrepreneurs, it's not only for managers, it's not only for people who are in managerial roles. Anybody can benefit from reading this book, just from how to understand yourself and understand those around you. And from all the work that we've done and all the clients that we've worked with, the one thing that always reigns true is the emotional awareness of the business owner. Dictates the moves, dictates the reputation of the company. It's why you hear that some people, like, don't want to work with a certain company because of who manages it or who owns it. Some, it's not the same. But take your favorite business owner of the day. Like, the ones that always stick out, right? Like, Steve Jobs. He's a big name. Bill Gates. The guy that owns Amazon, because I can't think of his name right now. Even continue on from that. Like, one thing that always comes out is that, yes, they have built amazing businesses. Like, if you're from Canada, another one would be, like, Research in Motion. I can't even think of their names right now. Clearly, it doesn't matter who these people are. My point is that these are the names that, like, what drives headlines is when something goes wrong, or something that's happening in their personal lives, or a perception or a perspective that the world has on those people. And it doesn't have to be about the company. Like, there's that girl who, she was running a company. Like, she literally, like, there's a movie being made about her. She was working in the healthcare sector, and she, like, lied through the entire business, but she was just so good at putting on this act of, like, being this business owner, and that everything was gonna, like, work out for her. Like, she was like a powerhouse CEO, and then everyone found out that she was a total fraud, and now she's, like, in jail and stuff. Like, the moves you make as a business owner, as a CEO, dictate the reputation of your company, the reputation you will have, and the success and the well-being of your company. Because at the end of the day, we can be worried about making money, but the well-being will always be more important. The well-being of our company, the well-being of ourselves, well-being of our employees. Because those are the people, our employees are the people who make or break our success. And if you're attracting the wrong people, or you're attracting people who are vibrating on a level that doesn't align with the level that you're vibrating on, that will come through. Literally just drove by 3333, so I'm clearly right about this. And then I just saw 888. So, like, the universe is working with us as long as we're listening. If we stop listening, that's when we make shitty decisions. That's when we will make a bad deal. That's when we'll get taken advantage of. So one thing I've learned over the last, couple of weeks is take a breath. Even if you feel like the idea is really, 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 really good, and you're like, yeah, I want to dive in right now, it's okay to take a breath. It's okay to really ask yourself the tough questions, regardless if you have $1 million in the bank or $1 in the bank. Because you decided to run your own business for a reason, right? Whatever that reason is. So trust your gut. Trust yourself. And know that it starts with doing the work. Because it always starts with doing the work. And the work never stops. And when I say the work, you either know what I mean or you don't know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, probably a good sign to go figure out what that means for you. So yeah, that's really all I have to say today. Welcome to Car Chats. This is the first one I've done. This is what happens in my brain when I drive. I just think and think and think. So now I'm just going to talk about it, because I used to just call Kate and we would talk about it, and there will be ones where I talk to Kate too, and we'll continue on with all the fabulous things we have to talk about. But this felt right to me. This felt like an important lesson for me to process with you. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say, that some of these questions prompted some ideas for you. And if you want to chat, I'm always here. Like, you can DM me anytime, message Wildly Digital, comment below, and I will be happy to get to know you better. Because I think that that's the most important thing about, well, at least for me, the most important thing in life is creating really valuable relationships and networks around me. So thank you for listening. Welcome to my network, and I hope you have a fabulous day. You can find this podcast on our website, major platforms. Subscribe so you get the latest and greatest. Follow us us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're pretty much everywhere at Wildly Digital Co.